Hey guys, in this short video, I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind lately regarding the in-game boss description. I'm not sure whether this has been officially announced in the live stream or people have talked about it, but lately as I was doing infographics for the stages, I usually also cross-check it with the in-game boss description, but for I say maybe the last few weeks there is no more in-game boss description. So this is an example from one of the recent events where we fought against XDev is totally empty. You can still see the force reflex and tips of course, but usually in the past under the details tab there is a description below the resistances on what type of attacks that the bosses can do. Give you another example. So this is from the story chapters. Say if I go to intersecting wheels, and we of course now currently have Kadach. So let's look at what his boss description says. So same thing, there's nothing there. Same goes for the recent 8-man event as well as lost chapters. So I'll just pop on over and show you guys how it looks like. So the most recent lost chapters that we had was Fusoya's, and once more it's empty. And just for completeness sake, let's check out how it is in lost chapters. Sorry, not lost chapters, 6 warrior quests. There we go. So the most recent one of course was area 8. So if you click on area 8, again there's nothing there. Both bosses have no really details on what attacks that they have. So this is stark contrast in earlier events. So since I'm still at the 6 warrior quest, let's look at a much earlier one. Say if I take area 5 as an example and I click on the boss, there we go. They have details everywhere. What the boss can do, what the attacks are, what are the thresholds, and so on. It's the same for the other enemies as well. So if I click on the heritage golem here, you see there's a very clear description on what does the abilities actually do. Which I suppose, while nowadays the fights are so easy, you don't really need to do a lot of research. I'm also partly worried that they removed the details because the fight doesn't really have anything to write about, so the details will be extremely short. Give you guys another example. So this week's crystal mission quest, for example, crystal mission quests are of course reruns of old event, and this week's one is Aranya's event. So if you go in the crystal mission quest, you can still see that the description is still there. It's not totally empty. You can actually see all the attacks that the boss can do. So brave attack, glide, eagle flame plus, yada yada yada. One thing that I noticed also concurrent with this is that recent events, the bosses really don't do that much, and I'm talking about their regular abilities. Sure, in Shinryu every boss has their force abilities. Some fights they have threshold attacks. I mean, some fights don't even have threshold attacks, but let's put that aside. In terms of abilities, recent fights, the bosses really only do like 2 or 3 attacks. Most of the time really only 2. I've been doing some research in the upcoming event, which is the World of Illusions Alexander stage coming up later this week, featuring Deuce, and I realized that not counting the force attack or the triggered abilities, so strictly referring to the regular abilities that the boss has, the boss really only has like 2 regular abilities, which is a brave attack and something else that also does brave attack, and the boss can do a generic HP attack if it has brave when it starts its turn. That's pretty much it. Whereas you compare it to older events, they at least do something else. So that's really it for this video. Not sure whether this has been brought up to the community before, and I suppose most people don't really care much for the in-game description. But it's in the past when we had end-game content, one of the ways to prepare that I usually recommend to people anyway is to look at what the boss can do and prepare countermeasures. Nowadays it's more on the tip section, which I suppose is still at least roughly enough info that you can use to get by. But it's a shame, that detailed move mechanics and ability descriptions are removed, whereas the details tab is still left in the game. So that's really it for this video. As always, I hope it's been at least somewhat informative. But what do you guys think of the details tab? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Till then, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.